All right, we're live. Bucky, you get to do the intro to episode 9. It's been a while, but this is number 9.
Digital CRE collision, and we're back. 2017. We'll do a refresher, re-intro. My name is Bucky Beeman, commercial real estate agent in Rochester, Minnesota. I'm very passionate about commercial real estate and about how to tackle this whole internet, state of the internet, the social media, and apply it to my business.
And I am Dallas McLaughlin, Director of Interactive Marketing at the James Agency in Scottsdale, Arizona. So what I always try to say is where Bucky, he's the face of his personal brand executing on his own. I'm behind the scenes trying to pull the strings and work behind the curtain for a bunch of brands and businesses. So it's a cool dynamic.
Another cool thing about it is you're definitely in a bigger world than I am as far as some of the brands you're working with. So I love picking your brain and seeing how I can learn from you and apply it to my business as well.
So yeah, before you go there, it's creepy. Hang on. So you say that, yeah, the world is bigger, I guess you could say, but they struggle with the same things that the guy with himself and 3 employees do, and they're struggling with it at 500 employees. So it's around the globe. Doesn't matter your size. Everybody's in the same boat right now.
Awesome. Well, let's start it off with what we learned in 2016 and some of our achievements in 2016, and then let's go into 2017 and use what we've learned and talk about how we're going to use it to better our business. I'll kick it off. So 2016 was a year for me of overall mass production, the most content creation that I've ever had in my entire life. And it all started because of Snapchat. Finally, I got a platform that I could tell a story and create content on a daily basis. And then I figured out how to tell a story every single day. Prior to that, I really suffered with what to post on Twitter, what to post on Facebook. I kind of felt like it had to be perfect. Thanks to Snapchat, I went headfirst, all in, and I started creating consistent content. And I got a lot of things that I learned that I can dive into, but I will give a lot of credit to Snapchat, which now is leading into creating stories on Instagram. And my content creation was way, way, way up because of those 2 platforms.
Yeah, and I think in my world, when I reflect back on 2016, I saw a lot of businesses, even just from January 1st of 2016 to January 1st of 2017, those budgets shifting almost in a panic state from traditional, out-of-home radio, TV, print, billboards to digital really fast. Like at the start of the year, even just last year, it was a tough sell. And this year, people can't shed that stuff fast enough. But they just don't know what to do yet. Everybody's in scramble mode right now.
And, that's interesting, as I would say, never before have I seen so much content creation myself also. Now, I'm paying more attention because I'm doing it on a regular basis, but I really feel like the regular Joe is stepping it up if it's someone like myself and actually creating content, which they didn't before. I think you had made the comment, Dallas, when I originally went live on Instagram, I've only done it like once, maybe twice, and you said, think of how difficult it was to go live way back in the day, and now it's just a simple go to your phone, push live, and you're out there visible to the world. So you're seeing the regular Joes, as I'll call them, starting to create a lot more content.
Right, and it's the same thing that happened to kind of the book and publishing industry. It used to be really hard 100 years ago to be an author. You had to have a publisher, you had to have production and distribution and people that agreed to sell your books. And now you open up your computer, you type an ebook, you shoot it out there, the entire world has it. It's an ebook. So the same thing is happening for content production, where it used to take this huge overhead to get a video crew and editing and distribution as well for video. Now it's just right here in your phone. Every person has this. This is your distribution, this is your production, this is everything.
And I love how you say that this is everything, because I've honestly figured out now how to use this for so much. What I'm doing on it is I'm creating, I'm editing, I'm redistributing, I'm planning, I'm interacting, I'm doing it all right here. And because now I've applied myself in this last year, I feel like going into 2017, now that I got a general sense of how it works, I need to apply a strategy to this. So it's not just like taking every day from, just flying along, trying to make it happen. Like taking it day by day. I need to have a strategy. And so that's what I can talk about as far as going into 2017. Some specific things I learned in 2016 is that there is stuff around me worth sharing about, and I just used to walk by it. And because now I'm in the mindset of I want to, and I enjoy creating a story, like I capture stuff and I ask people to be a part of my story. And I think about it as we're driving to look at a property. I think about the intro to the middle of it to the end of it. I think about that throughout my day. I think about at the end of the day how I can download my story. And I really am starting that here going into the new year. Download my story, because you think about Snapchat, it's gone after 24 hours. Download it and redistribute it. So I'm redistributing it on 2 platforms right now. And I'm redistributing on an app that I really like, and I want the viewers to know about it. I want you to know about it, Dallas. It's called Snapped, SNAPPD. It's still in test mode, and it's the first app I've actually ran in test mode, but it's working awesome. You can put vertical video, upload it to Snapped, and then it gives you a website that people could go on their computer and see all your vertical video. If you can think of it, it's kind of like YouTube, but it's a little more organized than YouTube. And you can share links to it, and you can continue to push your story that I put so much flipping energy into the day prior, where in the beginning, I just let that thing go away. Like, oh my gosh, looking back, what the heck? I put all that energy in those stories are gone forever. So I'm doing that. And then the other thing I'm using is YouTube Capture. So I'm doing the same thing I'm doing on Snap, taking my Snapchat story or Instagram, just depends on how I feel that day, the next day, and I'm redistributing it on YouTube. So I really feel like 2017, I'm going to create a lot more vertical content, vertical video content from my phone on multiple platforms. It won't just be hosted, if you will, on Snapchat or Instagram. It's getting that reach out there further.
Yeah, I think talking about a vertical video is a quick, interesting tangent to go on real quick. So forever, it was almost like you got shunned in public if you shot up a vertical video, Now it's shifting back to vertical video because of Snapchat, obviously. But we saw in last year's Super Bowl a full commercial that was produced and shot and shown during the Super Bowl in vertical video, so the big black bars on the side. Their reasoning was everybody's looking at full screen TVs. The video, the commercial is going to stand out is the vertical video. And now it's just completely natural, again, because this is vertical. It always will be for at least the near future. And just waiting for the show to start here tonight, I saw on Facebook a Snapchat paid video, almost a commercial in a sense, but on Facebook, that was shot in Snapchat. So it's a Facebook ad, but shot in Snapchat by Starbucks, of all people. So Starbucks has all the money in the world to shoot the highest fidelity commercial they ever could, and they shot it in Snapchat and then promoted it on Facebook.
So one thing that also happened for me in 2016 is really starting to engage with a community online. I found a community, and it really started with like 5-10 people. And that led to the opportunity to go and meet with these people in Utah, because we were all passionate about creating content online and trying to learn from one another and expand our knowledge as far as how we can do this better. That meetup led to a Facebook group. That Facebook group led to a total, I think we're 720 people strong, all related to real estate. I'm definitely maybe there's a couple commercial real estate agents that I've invited in, but I'm not finding them still. So that hasn't changed going into 2017. But there is passionate people that I'm now conversating with on a daily basis related to this thing that I love so much. And I'm learning from them on a daily basis. We have, besides the big group that you see posts on and conversations on and questions on a daily basis, also that smaller group, this core group of the community that I met originally, we also are conversating now on Snapchat on a regular basis because they have group chat that started. So I'm really like engaging with the community, and they're becoming friends, and they're becoming, I'll say partners. Like I can lean on them, and I can get answers from them. And I've never had done that before. It was always, my world of my community. And it's like, I figured out how to start engaging with an online community, which it's just like my world here in Rochester. But I had to figure out how to use the tools and how to get over my fear of talking to somebody online, if you will.
Yeah, it helps so much to kind of have that second opinion. I have kind of a similar situation here at the agency, at the James Agency. So for the whole year, I was the one digital guy. So I put a plan together, I put it in front of everybody, and everybody said, yeah, whatever, you know, like, you're the guy, it's going to work. Now we've brought in other pieces, other people that know these strategies inside and out, just like I do. So I can put it up there, and they can say, oh, well, you know what, Dallas, did you think about this? Did you try that? What about this? And collectively, we come up with a much better, more solid, more pushing the edge strategy. And it's just so much better to have those other people to bounce ideas off of.
That's awesome. Another great thing I learned going into 2017 is just the overall simple tools that are out there that help with your content creation. So as far as, I had a friend of mine introduce me to pop sockets. That's a simple thing that actually helps you hold your phone better, and they're relatively inexpensive. I can't grab it from here, but I got 2 tripods that I'm now using that hold my mobile phone. I have a small remote. So I'm using tools that I never had used in past years to help make my stories just better quality overall. And it's easier, like with live, for example, to just set up my tripod and let it roll. So that's that.
Yeah. So what's up? Ask me the question.
I was going to say, what are you seeing as far as the larger brands do from the beginning of 2016 to the end of 2016? I understand you say the spend is more, but what specific areas have you seen them start to invest in?
So what we're finally starting to see, so this was a really hard sell, even just in 2015, let's say, so the year before this past year. It was a really hard sell to walk into a client meeting. Let's say it's a business, they've been, like today, for example, we had a business in, they are already a client, but they've been in business, in the restaurant business, for 25 years, and they've been very successful, but we're their marketing agency of record now. So when they come in, it used to be the case where I would have to explain as far as I could how important digital is, and I really had to sell it, really had to make a huge case for it. And still, it was kind of like, you know, we don't really need it. We're doing fine. Word of mouth is everything, you know. Let's do a direct mailer to everybody within 2 miles of the restaurant. We'll be good. Today, they came in, and same investors they had 25 years ago are in the room today. And I started saying, this is what you need to be doing. This is it. You need to do this digital strategy, target new customers, existing customers, grow your awareness, bring people back to home base. And they literally looked at me and said, I don't know what you're talking about. Just give me the plan. If that's what we need to do, that's what we need to do. So it's just like they have to have a digital strategy. They just know. And it's no longer a fight. And it's great to see after fighting that battle for the better part of 10 years. So companies now are understanding they don't know what they don't know, and they're aware of that. They have the awareness that they don't understand digital, but it's not going anywhere. So they're getting the pieces, whether externally hiring an agency or internally they're hiring these digital guru guys to come in and just make sense of it for them, so they don't have to figure it out.
That's awesome. So let's talk about 2017. Let's talk about the future, the excitement, some of the things that, whether you want to put it all out there as predictions and I can hold you to the prediction and tell you you're right or wrong, or if you want to talk about some of the trends you're starting to see and what your plans are. What are you thinking for 2017?
Obviously what we're doing right now, I think live is huge. So I talked to you about this in a different conversation. I went kind of on a mini road trip over the Christmas break, and I stopped, one of the stops was in Los Angeles. So I really wanted to see some of the old hair metal clubs of, like, they were big in the 70s and 80s, like Whiskey A Go-Go, the Roxy, Viper Room, all those places. And every single one I went to was the weirdest thing. It was almost kind of like a bad sci-fi movie of 80 years ago. Was everybody in the crowd had their phones up and they were all live. It was crazy. If there's 100 people standing in the traditional like mosh pit area, 30 to 40 of them were live on something, whether it was Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. And it was almost a natural thing for them. They would go live, they'd hold their phone, and then they would just have conversations with the people around them. But they were getting comments, and you could see the engagement on their live feeds. So it's wherever people go, whatever they're doing, they're going to go live on whatever their preferred platform is. It used to be status updates. Then it was images, and it was recorded videos, and now it's live. That's where it's going.
Interesting. Well, and I just got, I don't have them close to me either, but a new tool that I'm excited to share about. I got spectacles, and you can only at this point record 10 seconds on the spectacles, but you just wait. Like 2017, we're at the very beginning. These things just launched. You know, there's a lot of people right now working on wearable cameras, even more wearable than the GoPros, because we all know those are kind of like, what do I do? Mount the GoPro to my helmet? Like, I don't wear a helmet very often. So I expect a lot more of those coming out, waterproof. I expect ones that record not just for 10 seconds, one that record for a long time. I just came back from the YMCA. I like to play racquetball. I'm kind of last of a dying breed. And I told my dad that I wanted to wear the spectacles to capture some shots. Like, if I could record the whole game, I would, like, press a button and just let it go. And I have to wear goggles anyway, so boom, done. So get ready. Someone told me today that Oakley's, I can't remember if it was one of the head people at Oakley had just joined Snapchat. So, I mean, that's a sign that wearable, especially the eyewear, like, it's go live, boom, done. It's awkward to hold my phone up like this. I'm just going to wear my glasses that look like cool glasses anyways. You don't care if I have prescription or not. So,
right. I watched your story that day when you got the spectacles, and because I wanted to see what it looked like. And I don't want to say I've been skeptical of spectacles. I didn't mean for that to rhyme, but you know, I like the idea. Google Glass had it too. It was way too early with Google Glass. And then I actually saw the footage you got out of them. There was one specific snap that you did when you were driving your car, two hands, you know, you're driving, you're doing things, you're pointing, but it's your Snapchat. And it was like, it was so natural and creepy. It was weird. It was amazing. And it instantly, like, I got up, I think I used my one replay for the day, and I showed it to the person that was with me. I was like, look at this, like, this, something about this I can just feel is going to be the next thing. It's crazy.
It's so natural. Like, we all know holding this, it's awkward. Like, if I'm going like this right now, you're going, what the heck is that guy doing? If I have glasses on right now and I'm wanting to capture this so I can redistribute it other places, no one even cares. Like, you know, so that's it. Like, it's, yes.
Yeah, about it from my point of view, from an agency setting, how many meetings we sit in every day and everybody's got their notes, and at the end we're all trying to compile notes, like, no, he said this, he said that, and all these things, and nobody knows what was said about what. Imagine, here, let me look real quick, whoop, and we all watch it, and then there it is, and it's answered. It's crazy.
It's coming. So my plan for 2017, I got some of my notes here. One thing I've never done in the past is actually created a strategy for social media. And where I came across a resource that I'm starting to build based on their direction is from Social Media Examiner. Fortunate with that same group of community to be going to Social Media Marketing World in March. So I've been paying attention to some of the content that Social Media Examiner puts out. And one is specific as to how to create your plan for the new year. And I'm building it in Google Sheets, basically breaking down every single week throughout the upcoming year. Where I'm at in the process is I just got done identifying major holidays. I got done identifying some of the major shows that are related to commercial real estate. And I'm putting that on my sidebars, and then it goes Monday through Sunday on the very top. And this evening, actually, I anticipate building some additional content in there. So really having a plan for the whole year and being able to see it and then stick to it. And what I'm excited for is if I have the plan, and you know, some of that you can schedule, some of that it's really going to take weight off of my shoulders to have this responsibility that I feel like I need to create content so regularly. Like, I think my content production, I'm hoping, even goes up because I can be more creative. I'm not so like forced to have to tell a story. Like today's story, nothing. Like there's hardly anything on today's story. But having that weight off of my shoulders will be nice. And it's going to start with Excel or Google Sheets, and then I'm going to transfer it to Google Calendar. And I'll share about some more things. But what are you seeing as far as other ways to kind of plan out a year related to social media, maybe how other brands are doing it?
Yeah, so what we typically do for our clients here, there's a few different ways to look at it. Most common, the one that we just roll out, unless there's some other strategy that we're after, some other outcome, is what we'll do is we'll create a social media content calendar, and that will incorporate Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, sometimes LinkedIn, depending on the industry. And same thing that you're doing across the top, we'll have the month, quarter, month, week, and then even drills down to days of the week. And what we do, usually the first big block at the top is like national holidays, it's industry events, it's going to be major things happening that the brand might want to post about. And then on from there, we start saying, okay, on Facebook at 4:05 p.m., you're going to post this with these hashtags, link to this article with this link tracking. Sometimes we even go deeper and say, with this post, you're talking to this persona group, and you're hoping for this outcome, whether it's to download this PDF, fill out this contact form, read this blog and make a comment, whatever it happens to be. So you can get super narrow, or you can really drill down with it. So basically we go a super deep dive on that. Let's go a real practical example would be, let's say they write a blog post, and at the bottom of this blog post is sign up for our email list and download this PDF, or get this free PDF. So we'll take that blog post and we'll make 8 to 10 tweets out of it that are all a little bit different. And then we'll make 4 Facebook posts out of it. We'll maybe make some infographics for Instagram. Maybe something, we'll relate it to business if we put it on LinkedIn. So then we'll distribute it everywhere, usually on a schedule, and then we'll just measure that coming back so we know exactly what types of posts worked, what times a day, what the audiences looked like. Really just kind of go back and measure constantly. So you're just taking one big piece of content and slicing it up in a bunch of different ways: email blasts, video, everything.
Interesting. What, if you can share, what tools are you using to create that? Is it Google Calendar, or are you using something different?
We usually let the client dictate that. It depends on how many people are going to be having to reference it. If it's a lot of people and a lot of people are working on it, we will do something like a shared Google Doc, or a sheet, I guess is what it would be in Google's terms. Otherwise, we will just have like this master Excel sheet that we're going to determine exactly what goes on that, and we're going to send it in PDF form to the client so they can't make changes or edits without us knowing. Sometimes if you give a workable document to a client, they'll go rogue on it, and then you don't know who made that update or who made that change or who's responsible, so it gets kind of murky. But we work.
Are you a tool called Percolate at all?
I haven't used that one, though.
So I just know that Banner Media is using it in some fashion, and I heard the shout out over this last year from Gary, and then I called them. They're like, look, we just work with big global brands, so you sound a little too small for us. But it's kind of interesting to, and then it was funny because within that next week, actually one of the ladies that works for, she's one of the ladies for like Bud Light, if you will. She's like, hey, we just got introduced to this Percolate. And I'm like, well, it all makes sense because Banner Media, that's their account. And so you have it here at a local level. And so she has available to her content that she can pull from and then distribute it within her locally, the Bud Light, if you will, fan page through the distributors or whatever. So that's why I asked the question, because there's definitely some larger tools out there that people are using, you know, bringing it down to small business where I'm at. The tool that I'm going to be using a lot more of in 2017 is Hootsuite, just for the fact of, one, it's been a great go-to tool in 2016 to figure out where to interact. So you can put locations within Instagram, go to those locations, interact on there. I'm not necessarily interacting much as Bucky Beeman, but I'm doing it for my father's burger restaurant. And if I follow hashtags such as CRE Tech. I follow the hashtag in Instagram and Twitter, and I interact there, find new people there, start conversations there. I think that's a big thing, start conversations. So a tool that I am using is Hootsuite to start, definitely in this last year, interact more, but in 2017, schedule more, because you can simply schedule from an extension on your browser, or if you dedicate time, go into the tool itself and schedule as well. So.
Yeah, I think scheduling is really important. I remember back when I used to have my business there in Rochester, I used to always hear that from people. They would say, like, man, you are everywhere on social media. I see you on every platform all the time. But then I would know, well, no, really, I'm just in the right places at the right time because I have all this content mapped out, and it pushes at the peak times of each platform when I know that most of my audience is online. I might be only posting once or twice a day, but to the people, it builds this perception that I'm always there because I'm sitting at the top of the feed every time they log in. So scheduling is just so important to kind of take that weight off. Another thing that we kind of do here at the office is, like we were talking about, we can't be in all these restaurants and we can't be at their stores, or one of our companies is a security company, so we can't follow them on installations. So what we'll do is we'll map out the most important like business objective posts for the month, and we'll put in the calendar in big bold letters so they can't miss it. On this date at this time, it's your responsibility to post an image of your accountant or something interesting about your culture. So they still have to do the humanizing elements of their brand. We handle the business objectives, the things that have to happen to keep the business going forward.
So pushing that one step further, and Dallas, there's a little bit of background noise every once in a while. I don't know if it's on your shirt where it's rubbing or what, but I just hear some noise here and there. Pushing that a little bit further. So I have a team of 10 people. And in this last year, as I started to double down on my creation of content, I started kind of pushing them, and it's finding and they're not doing it to the level that I am, but we're finding where everybody's strengths lie. Mine is video. Elizabeth, our operations manager, is blogs and podcasting. Potentially, she really has a passion for it. Nick, my partner, it's blogs. And so how can you play to people's strengths, I think, is important on your team. And then going even a step further, like if there was 4 people like me creating consistent stories and understanding how to pull it down, we would have content for days. Like it would be amazing because they're all going into different buildings. They're all having different experiences. If I could get them to create consistent stories, and that's kind of like a goal for 2017 is to get them to do more. If I can have in place somehow pulling down from their story so we can redistribute, that's amazing. In my father's burger restaurant, like, again, I'm creating the most content. I'm never there. How do I get my dad? How do I get some of his employees that are in high school and they love their phone? Like, how do I get them? So that would be another goal. And I think it's easier than ever before if you can help people understand how to create it here on a daily basis. Like, gosh, it's all so simple right from this little thing right here. So that would be another goal.
I mean, I would look at it kind of like you did with me and Snapchat. Like I couldn't get into Snapchat. I used it in 2013 when I had a business to promote on it. But now me as a person, I couldn't get into it until you challenged me. You said, commit, do it. 1 week, just you got to do it. And I did it, and then I believed in it. I saw the results. So it's almost like you have to educate people a ton. Like I'm always educating our clients on why all this stuff's so important. And when they see those results, it's almost like it then becomes a religion. Like this is religion to you and me. Digital marketing, social media, it's our religion. We start there. Everything else is a piece of that digital. We need to somehow change this mindset of other people, and that's by showing them the results and what that outcome is.
That's so true. 2017, some more things I plan on doing is kind of more professional video. Snapchat's been awesome, but how do I do more interviews with people in the community that leads to awareness about what's happening in the market, from interviewing the person that's heading a big economic development plan to interviewing someone that's building a project actually here in town. How I'm going to do that is leverage people in the community that have talent. So there's one individual that's doing a lot of video. So I'll be working with him on, again, within this schedule that I'm building right now for 2017, having planned out, all right, this is the quarter, the week, the month for this specific show. We got to do it. If we do the big piece of content, the one that takes a little more time, and he needs to help me, I'm not editing that stuff. If we create that, there's so many micro pieces of content. And one thing that I'll be doing a lot more is documenting. I need to do a snap right now, documenting the actual process of doing this thing and building this thing and what I'm learning. I think so often we just kind of get in like, okay, it's gotta be something that's impactful. Like, no, people are curious as to what type of camera I'm using. They're curious as to what platform we're recording on. They're curious about how we're redistributing it. Like documenting the process, I think is extremely important, and I'll be doing it more in this new year.
Yeah. So I had A few months ago, I started looking at my own personal branding pretty heavily. I got way back into it heavy for a good solid month there, and then I fell off the wagon again. But at that time, what I was doing is I literally got out a pen and a piece of paper, and I wrote Facebook. I wrote Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, YouTube, email, all these different things down. And I wrote exactly what I should be talking about on each of those things, and I was not going to allow them to overlap at all. So I think a big mistake is when somebody has like one image that they made and they put it everywhere. And it just doesn't work like that. So my example was on Twitter. I'm going to talk about breaking marketing industry news and how that relates to other people within my industry.
Interesting.
On LinkedIn, I can take that same piece of content and talk about how that affects the business owner. And then maybe on Instagram, that's my personal life is what at that point I had outlined. That's like behind the scenes, nothing work related, just my personal life. Snapchat then is only business. It's only work related. It's only me 9 to 5 at the agency, and just on down the line. So I had this whole system mapped out because what's important to me, and I see this with a lot of people that I'm interested in, I'll follow them in one place. Well, I'll follow them everywhere, but then I'll realize it's all the same. So I unfollow them everywhere except for one place. So I want to give people value to follow me in all the different channels instead of just picking one. And I think that's how you can do it.
Well, and I think that definitely requires a strategy.
Yeah.
Like, no
That's
doubt.
probably why I gave up on it. I had it all figured out, and then I was like, all right, on this date, I'm going to start, and I'm going to do it. And then it's like, life happened, and I still want to and need to do it. But,
awesome. Well, then let's talk about two more things that are on my mind. One is Gary V, and watching him, and I do it pretty religiously. I'm a little upset that I've missed like 3 or 4 daily Vs here recently because that's a lot of FaceTime I got to have, and I really don't want to have all that time of watching, but I need to. He is doubling down going into 2017 from what I can see on audio, and I'm just purely speculating and why, and this is actually coming from you as well, Dallas, because you're like, man, this is where it's going. So if you think about audio, it's so easy to consume compared to every other piece of content because of these things now that people are just regularly wearing, walking, working, you name it. And so I think kind of at the core, you need to figure out, if it works for you, how to take your video and convert it to audio and distribute it like he is on SoundCloud, on iTunes, on whatever. Someone said Stitcher. I haven't really looked into that platform, but I think audio is extremely important.
On Stitcher.
Yeah. See, I'm not. That's because you're the master of the audio, dude. I don't even know that stuff. So I need to learn more about that, and I need to learn how to convert stuff to those platforms very easily and distribute there because he's doing it. And I think another reason why he's doing it is because, and you've called this out, if I'm sitting in my house someday and I say, play Gary Vaynerchuk, I'm probably much more likely to consume it through the sound waves in my apartment than I am to actually sit down and watch it on the TV. Like I could be making eggs and listening to it. And I'm going to have an Alexis, a Google Home, or whatever they're calling that thing, to say it to. And if it's available in audio format, like it will play. And so that's important.
Right. Yeah. So my take on that, so my thing is, and it's actually not that uncommon, I just always start with the person, right? So what's going to happen to the person you want to hear you all day, every day? My example would be I wake up in the morning. As soon as I step out of bed, I have an Amazon Echo in my bedroom. I also have one in my kitchen. But I usually just turn on my phone and it picks up whatever I'm listening to. So I go through my whole morning routine, get ready for work. As soon as I get in my car and turn on my car picks up my audio. I have to do nothing. It's all Bluetooth. So my car picks up exactly where I left off. I do my 20-minute drive to work, get out of work, get to my desk, plug in my headphones, continue. So it's literally a seamless experience with audio. Now, if you look at it from video, I couldn't do that. I would have to do my morning routine, but be like looking at a TV, which is totally inconvenient. In my car, there's just no opportunity. At work, I've got work to do. Sometimes I pull up like on the second monitor, a small YouTube video or something, but it's not as easy to do that. So audio, it just fits into everybody's life so easily right now.
Awesome. And then two other things, and they blend together. Like I've figured out in this last year that blogging is not my thing. How can I leverage someone's talent that is more of a writer to pull down content from my videos and have them write about some of the things I'm experiencing, documenting the stories that I'm sharing, and then distribute blogs. And I have a person actually I'm doing a call with tonight at 8 o'clock that is a student in college that I've used slightly, but I need to do that more. And that also goes back to my website. Like a website needs to be living and breathing, and I don't know how to build websites. And I don't know if one, I think, important piece of a website is definitely a blog. And so those two in my mind kind of go hand in hand, and those are things that I won't necessarily be managing. And so I don't know if they'll come in 2017, but I just kind of spitball that off and see if you have any suggestions, or if you because I think a lot of small business owners like myself struggle with that. It's not our thing. Not to say we shouldn't learn bits and pieces about it, but how can we get to the level we want to?
So what I would do is I would definitely get with somebody who is a copywriter, or at least has an interest in that. So we actually just had this conversation yesterday at our Monday morning production meeting. The James Agency, we're our own worst client by far. We put way more pressure on ourselves to do the right thing and the best thing, to the point that it almost, unfortunately, like paralyzes us. We get nothing done. So we were discussing our own blog strategy and how we want to do 2 blogs a month, which is 24 a year. And how we can't pull, like the creative people, we can't pull them out to do blogs because it takes too much time off of their plate. So the solution was, well, let's have our copywriter write 12 of those blogs, and we've only got to write 12 more from the people that don't have the time. So what he's going to start doing then is he's going to ask us, hey, what if you were going to write a blog about something right now, what would it be? And we can all give ideas. That's simple. We're all passionate about what we do. And then it's on him to come up and interview us. Okay, tell me all about that right now. And he's going to document all of that. So tell me what your thoughts are on this. Where is it going? How are you using it? How should our clients be using it? Where do you see it 5 years from now? And then he's going to take all that information back to his desk, because he's a copywriter. That's his thing. And he's going to write it into a 800, 1,000-word blog. It's going to look like it came from us, but it really didn't. It was just the idea and the thoughts came from us.
So that's where I think there's a lot of opportunity. I haven't figured out quite how to work it yet, but one, you can now talk into your computer and create a Word document. And 2, voice memos is in everybody's phone, but most people don't use it to the level that they should. And I even now have seen Gary Vee, I think, do a voice memo, send it to what he calls his audio team, and then the audio team distributes it. And it's like a rant, or it's whatever's on his mind at the moment. And so just you keep audio in mind, is even for your team to say, okay, Dallas, go talk a blog, and then get it to the copywriter. And then the copywriter, of course, is going to make some edits to it, but at the core is like, this is Dallas's blog, like ghost written, I think that's what it's called, by someone else. And I just, again, back to audio, I think we're not utilizing audio in this world as much as we should, at least from what I'm seeing. So
yeah, and I think you saying that makes me think that everything, when we were cavemen, it started with audio. Then all this technology and stuff got in the way, and now it's going back to audio. It's going back to what's natural. So we just need to accelerate that process a little bit.
So the next digital CRE collision, you'll see us both looking like cavemen. We'll probably be in caves. That's where we're headed in 2017.
So don't we usually end this with a one thing, right? I don't have mine, so you're gonna have to go first.
All right, one thing. What am I seeing? What's out there? I already used the spectacles thing. I love that one. What else? I am curious, and I have a friend of mine. So my roommate's daughter is 9 years old. She's wonderful, and she likes Musical.ly. And we did our first Lively the other day. And I think if you want to really see how people are going to be engaging with social in the years to come, go and watch people that are in elementary and middle school. And not like I spoke at a high school. I said, does anybody know Musical.ly? All the high schoolers are like, nope. The elementary and middle schoolers are interacting more than anybody with people through this app. I think this is the core app. And just look at how they're engaging. Look at how they're asking questions. They're playing games that lead to interaction. Like I strongly believe there's going to be a time when you pull up your TV and you're going to have the chance to talk to the person on the other side of the TV, the big screen sitting right there in your living room. Like you're going to be interacting with the movie star that's on the other side. The signs of this is coming from this Musical.ly and Lively app that we've been playing around with. We're actually, if anybody wants to watch us tonight, we're going on Lively at 8:30 p.m. and you can see us. It's Bucky Bee and Bumblebee on Musical.ly and Lively. And this will be our second Lively. And I'm telling you, like, this is the direction it's headed. So that's 8:30 Central. It's 7:30 now. We got an hour until we go live.
Okay, so I'll piggyback on that since you're headed down that direction, and say anything. And God, now I think I probably said this before, but it's really big. The personal assistants. So the Amazon Echo, the Google Home, Microsoft's coming out with one. Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg made his own Jeeves, which is insane if you haven't seen that video. The artificial intelligence of the home and the personal assistants is where every business needs to pay attention. And the example being, my son's 5 years old. He has one in his bedroom. We have one in our kitchen. My 2.5-year-old has one in his bedroom, basically just for playing music for him. I have one in my bedroom. So these two kids and a lot of other kids right now are going to grow up speaking to their home. They're not going to be with remotes or pushing buttons on stuff. My son, my 5-year-old, when he has a question, he literally says, Alexa, how far away is the moon? And she tells him, and she's pulling that information from someone's website. So if somehow you can be your first mover is kind of already passed, but early adopter of these platforms, get your business, yourself, kind of hack your way into these voice and these personal assistants, you will have a major part in people's lives. Like right now, my 2.5-year-old loves this YouTube guy named Blippy. Grown man makes the weirdest YouTube videos. They get tens of millions of views, right? My 2.5-year-old desperately wants Blippy on his Amazon Echo to just tell him stories at night, but he's not on it. If he was on that, he would have millions of more viewers and listeners.
Ooh, man. All right. So how do I, as a commercial real estate agent, when someone says, tell me about a building, blah, 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 like, hi, this is Bucky. Like, all right. So next episode, give me some tips. We're not going to dive in this episode because we'll go. All
right. Save it.
Awesome. Thank you, Dallas. And we need to do more of these shows because it's a wonderful collision that we have of your world, my world, and the people that are listening and watching to this as well. We look forward to continued conversations in 2017 to help one another as we figure out this whole digital world that's happening in front of us.
End of the year, end of 2016 was crazy busy. Holidays, work. We missed a lot of shows, but we're going to get back at it.
Awesome. Thanks, Dallas.
Yep. Good talking to you, Bucky.